Recording is on.
Welcome to DXDAO Product Strategy Chat for March 26th. Looking at the agenda, I wanted to start first with just going over the content calendar and product priorities just to kind of set the stage, and then just looking for any kind of immediate updates on Mesa and Omen. I know there's been a lot of kind of separate work going on for those. And then I was hoping to spend most of the time kind of talking about Swapper on a couple different areas there. So I'm actually going to share my screen for the product priorities just so we can get this. New Jitsi. There it is. Cool. And so this is, we kind of went over these last week, and I just thought it'd be kind of helpful for us. We think about this to go over these again. So these are kind of like the big things. I think, what was the Rolling Thunder, or the kind of the big items we're thinking about. And Keenan had presented this more from like, this is what we need to plan from a content perspective, but it's also good for getting aligned on, I think, product priorities and what we're focusing on. So I think number one, the proposal was just submitted yesterday by Augusto, and so I think it has not been boosted. I think John sounded like he was going to maybe test it and then do the boosting.
Yeah, I mean, somebody should. I mean, anybody could do this, right? You should just go and verify that the parameters look good and are matching the existing parameters. But yeah, I was planning to do that probably today.
So that would be great, and that we should do definitely. Like, we'll have like a Medium post about that when that passes, and then kind of the next things, Swapper liquidity from DXDAO. We could talk about both kind of XDAI and DXDAO once we get the first waves in on mainnet, and then the two DXD farming campaign, IL insurance. I think something for Swapper that we're kind of talking about, whatever that is in terms of specific to the DXD ETH pair or just other incentivization ideas for Swapper. I think that's something we want to push forward. It'll be good to actually chat about today. And then the DXD buyback transparency announcement, that'll kind of kick off things there. And then Omen token announcement, DXD buyback launch, and then Omen token launch, and then a couple other things in here that, you know, I'm not sure whether they'll occur in the same kind of order here or how they'll kind of play out, but you know, some type of Arbitrum launch, probably specific for Swapper, that could happen in the next month or so. Same thing with Mesa. Not sure if we want to do something on like a Mesa launch if it is going to be used for the Omen token launch. Will there be kind of something else we want to do before that? Maybe it's some like beta version or something, and then just like a Swapper V1, more of anything specific there. So yeah, don't need anything specific, but any kind of broad questions about these things that are not on here that we should be thinking about in terms of priorities over like the next 6 to 8 weeks. Cool. And then just to go into specifics, just kind of the rest of the agenda, I wanted to start first with Mesa. I don't think there really is much for us to discuss this week. I know there's been kind of a lot of work on the technical architecture side there, but Martin, just wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to chat about. I think you're...
Until Martin starts, I got really inspired yesterday by a post of his, and I've been brainstorming a lot. So I came with a couple of innovations that I'd like to surface with you guys. I wanted to be... Yeah, okay, go on, Martin.
No, go ahead. I don't think we have a lot to discuss today from my side, but yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I want it to be fair for all participants, and I figured a way to gamify it and make more money for our clients, raising funds, as with getting a share of those funds as well. You know, the more the better. it's a win-win for everyone. So I thought of a way for the price to go both up and down. And in terms of incentivizing investors and making it a level playing field, I thought of a way for us to allow them to keep buying even after demand meets supply. And I will present this neatly in a little piece I'll share with you afterwards. But I think this will be really innovative, and no one else has done it. So it could work well if it meets your approval.
Cool. Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing that.
You're talking about
forum.
the auction, you know, the thing I posted.
Yeah, the
There, you know,
auction site.
there's just a time limit in there. There's no like market price. The market price is forming during the sale. Yeah, but maybe, you know, we can have yeah. You show me what you're thinking, and maybe you see something I don't see. But
Cool. Yeah, and just like there'll always be, you know, Mesa kind of iterating on this, and even with the
anyway, you
Uniswap.
know, it's the idea to have different mechanism in the end, and we will then see what's accepted by the market. And of course, we have to write them, but in a way, it should be easily to plug in new ones, and then we see what people think about them and how they use it, and then we will change them if it needs to be. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And one plug here, I can't find it right now, but Martin had a Twitter post or thread on Mesa as it relates to Uniswap v3, just because there's maybe some interesting things that they would do there. So check out his Twitter profile for that.
Yeah, I was not at the first moment I was thinking it doesn't change anything, but in a way, if you can make now you can make like order books, you know, as a liquidity provider, you can like you can set a range and then you sell it if the price is going up. So maybe I'm not that sure, you know. But as always, mostly and that's I think it's what Uniswap misses right now, and it would be very nice to have something like, you know, a playground for people to use it and just to play around to see how it works. Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. All right. And then just wanted to switch to Omen. I know there's been a lot of other kind of discussion, a lot of things going on there, and I don't know if there's anything that we wanted to get at today that was pressing. I don't know, Geronimo or Tammy, is there anything that you guys are working through now?
Yeah. My one thing that I could mention right now, just to check in on the landing page. I think John's doing like project management with the tech side along with Geronimo. So things are moving along on that front. But in order to make sure all the other elements are kind of chugging along. Sky, do you think that Raid would actually be interested in doing the landing page? Like, should we go forward with retaining them, or is it time to should we get some more quotes?
Yeah, I think we should explore multiple opportunities. So like Ray Guild is a bunch of individual people, and so they have to, like, their recruiters had to like find a designer that was willing to, like, we gave them the whole scope or the idea of what we wanted, and they have to like be interested and then come back. So this is like, you know, this is the new way of hiring someone.
Our process, for sure.
Which we haven't had great success with. And so at the same time, Luke from who came on the call last week, or this week, a Monday, he's also planning to do a proposal about designing the landing page. So yes, if people have another option for who could design and create the landing page, like, let's
Yeah, exactly. Great. Okay, so
explore that as well.
All right, so that will be something that's happening. Like just the beginning of next week, and hopefully we can, maybe by the end of next week, we can hopefully have a little solid answer on that. Geronimo, is there anything on your end that I'm missing aside from what I mentioned?
Yeah, like from our side, there was definitely a shift in terms of priority. We planned to put like complete focus on the guild. So once the token is out, we wanted that people actually can use the guild in a few ways, and like actually a utility token. But now we realized that I think the complete focus should be to make the token launch a success, which means, one second, which means making sure that the like liquidity mining contracts are audited and actually like potentially have one feature which would be awesome for us, for the Omen guilds, which is basically topping up liquidity mining contracts if there's actually way more liquidity and the APY is just like too low. So like to summarize, the focus should be the token launch, which means we should make sure that the guild is able to curate liquidity rewards for liquidity providers. This includes like a liquidity mining UI in Omen, and like the only functionality the guild should have is curate liquidity mining for Omen markets. And that's like that's definitely a priority shift. Before we had planned to like go with the market curation first, include the competition, and maybe like a simple proposal process for the guilds. But now we actually want to make sure that like we do everything we can to make the token launch a success, and then prioritize the guilds, because then the token is out, and we can build on top of the whole guild stuff later on.
And the liquidity mining, which is for like Omen liquidity provisioning, that would be done like through the guild and rewards that, not like manually calculated and distributed. Exactly.
Like we didn't want to do it manually because it sucks. Like it's just cool to have it automated. Even cooler to have an automated curation process. So
absolutely.
That is what I'm excited about, is basically if someone is creating a market, we do like in the background, we ask the guild to, hey, do you actually want to reward the liquidity in that market? And that's like the user actually doesn't need to do anything. Like the way people do create markets right now, this will not change at all. And it's just in the background, the guild's basically supporting the product by rewarding liquidity providers, by just funding the mining, liquidity mining contract the user deployed in the background on XDAI.
Yeah. And I think that's great because, like, I mean, not the whole point, but like a big goal of the token is to fuel massive growth on Omen, right? And that's going to come through liquidity provisioning and users. And so, yeah, that's a great, good to hear the shift.
Exactly. Like like the good thing is, and what we realize is Omen needs to do everything we can to make liquidity providers happy. And by having like that one functionality ready with the Omen token launch, I think it's a great, it's a great way to say hello with the token.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously there's some, if the guild's still curating through the liquidity mining, that's good. But then, so do we still need to check in with Augusto, because he's essentially doing the validation guild stuff, right? So hypothetically, if he had that ready in time for an audit, we could still go forward with the validation, but not the, when I say validation, the curation of the valid, not valid market. But then we would not be doing the competition scheme, because we basically, the liquidity mining pretty much replaces that. And
yeah, like as far like thinking simply right now, the shift actually has literally no impact for Augusto. So we're just not using the features we spec'd out. So Augusto should definitely go on with the technical specification.
Okay. So again, though, do we consider this, because this, we have to consider the implications of do we consider this governing the liquidity mining program, governing the product, right? So like,
yep.
Right? It's just now, instead of having the competition scheme, we're going to be doing it through the liquidity mining. And then we're still going to be on our end doing the valid, not valid question through arbitration with Claros, right? That would be that's version 1.
Right. Like the funny thing is on Xstar right now, we actually are not doing any curation. So we need to definitely hurry up with the market curation. Like everything we planned is like complete super important, but we just set the priority for making sure that the token launch is like as successful as we can make it. But like immediately after we ship the whole liquidity mining stuff on Omen, like the market curation stuff should actually happen like immediately after.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and the funny way is like what I also thought about if we have liquidity mining rewards active, this is also like somehow a curation process, because the liquidity will flow in those like curated markets anyway with those rewards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point of emphasis, definitely, is the fact that this is actually pushing the more popular markets up, and it's through the crowd, it's through the DAO or through the guild, basically, right?
Right. Yeah, and also like I think the whole token airdrop is more complex as someone can imagine. Like we need to actually put some on-chain analysis about where DXD sits, and then do like proper research about like actually check out where they sit, how much those addresses should be rewarded, and then throughout networks and stuff. And then I think we said we will not just drop to like normal addresses. I think the way we're gonna do it is basically a claim contract on Xstar and on mainnet. So mainnet activity will have like the rewards on mainnet claim contract, and Xstar activity will have the rewards on Xstar claim contract. Like the reason why I thought claim contract makes more sense is because there will probably be a lot of tokens which will not be used, and those tokens should go to the guild back after like 6 months or a year. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think unclaimed should go back, right? We don't want to. That would make sense. Yeah, as Tammy said, I'm getting into the technical kind of project management here, and need to do some relayer stuff today, but we'll probably be shifting more of my focus next week to kind of all things Omen Guild. I don't think we're at a date or timeline yet. Like there's still like some things that we need to sort out here, I think, and get clarity on, but making good progress, I think.
Cool. Okay, Swapper. So there was just a release. I think he is not on the call, but I guess swap release, and this includes network switcher, the network switcher, which I get. I don't know if Federico, if you want to explain that, but it basically,
Yeah, so basically it lets you switch networks when no wallet is connected, which means that now you can just go on Swapper, not even connect a wallet, and see, for example, what the prices are on XDAI, or explore the XDAI version of Swapper. And basically, yeah, once you have a wallet connected, the network is automatically picked up from the wallet, and there's no way to change it from the dApp anymore. And actually, we've also included the new MetaMask API to add networks. So how it works is that when you go and on Swapper with a browser that has MetaMask installed, and the wallet is not actually connected to the dApp, when you switch network to XDAI, the dApp understands that you have MetaMask installed, and it asks you like, do you want to add XDAI to your MetaMask? And so you click add, and MetaMask just prompts you to add the network. So yeah, I think it's a nice addition to Swapper. But a lot of exciting progress in the last week. Also about farming, which I think we have actually a release candidate ready. Venki did some tests, and they all look pretty good. So the contracts have been, I think they have been sent out to do a review since the last audit. I've done some changes, so we need a review, and possibly also a second review, if possible, would be nice before the actual deployment. So the front end should be ready, the contract should be ready. A thing that is missing is the integration between the actual, the DAO and the contracts, and we should be able to test out the creation of liquidity mining campaigns by the DAO, and also the recovering of unassigned rewards and all that stuff. But we're getting very, very close to the release of farming. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Sweet. Great work. Cool. And then, just thinking about like Swapper, there's a couple different things where I'm trying to figure out how we balance them. So of course, like right now we have an ongoing effort to deposit liquidity into both Swapper on XDAI and Swapper on mainnet. There's the like XDAI Swapper in general, right? The fact that we have kind of liquidity on there, and that's something that we can kind of draw attention to. There's farming, which is a new feature that we want to highlight and get other projects to use. And then there's incentivization plans or liquidity mining plans specifically for Swapper, and whether that includes like DXD ETH. So there, it's a couple different things that we're all kind of in process right now. I think the DXDAO liquidity in Swapper is probably the one that is on like the most predictable path, right? We have some funds that are already in, we have more on the way, and like we'll continue to do that. We probably need to figure out how we want to expand that maybe to other pairs. But for the other ones, I feel like we're still have some gaps to fill. So how do people think about like where should we be focusing, I guess, for the next couple of weeks, whether it's on like I guess like once, assuming like, I guess the farming contracts kind of have their own timeline, and then we will be in a place where we could either be pushing farming to like third-party projects. We could be pushing Swapper on XDAI in some way. I don't know if like some way we could kind of do that, especially now with eco routing or being able to tap into both BowSwap and HoneySwap. We could really highlight like that feature. Or I think what we need to do kind of eventually and figure out a plan is like, what is our liquidity incentivization plan for Swapper on both XDAI and mainnet? So I don't know if people have thoughts on what we should be focusing on. Sky, it looks like you're thinking about something. I only say that because you're unmuted. Oh.
Sorry, I was typing. If I was making noise, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I guess focus on DXDAO liquidity, incentivization campaign, like our own farming campaign, or pushing third-party projects to use farming.
Yeah. So I think there's a big opportunity on XDAI. So okay. So DXDAO is now moving capital into like Swapper XDAI. That was the first step. XDAI, it's hard to even have some conversations. As we build that liquidity, I think we have a good opportunity for. There's a handful of tokens that have launched on XDAI, not natively. Well, some are native XDAI and some are mainnet that are where the main activity is happening on XDAI. Need to attract a number of those pools using farming and also ability to adjust the fee, so we can outcompete and be more favorable to LPs in certain scenarios compared to HoneySwap. And the cool thing is that even these tokens that are mainly on mainnet, also want to have a presence on mainnet because some people just don't come to XDAI, right? So Swapper has a huge advantage that it can beat HoneySwap on being on both chains, right? So BowSwap has both chains as well, but not many people are using BowSwap. People know about it. So we can do like farming on two different chains at the same time for your tokens. So the more that those tokens come into existence, and these are smaller community tokens, like House is one example that's going to launch on Monday. I think we can push to do more with those tokens now. Like getting like.
Can you talk specifically about House? Because like that could be like an opportunity we could like jump on this week, right? And I think there's always such an opportunity to catch liquidity and volume right when a token launches if you can be that first initial venue. And if it's on XDAI, right, we can capture that?
Yeah, once we get a few, then other people will see how that works. And then we should also do it with our own token in some manner. So we need a couple examples so that people aren't like, okay, Swapper sounds cool, but like never heard of it and no one uses it. Like you need some examples of people doing it, and then that makes it easier to get other people to use it, right? And we can always start with our own money. That's the huge advantage that DXDAO has, is we have the capital to test our own farming for our own tokens, and we can even farm, and we can do it with some other projects as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a little update there. There's a proposal live right now on DXDAO to deposit about 65 ETH and corresponding amount of XDAI into Swapper, which currently has about that amount already. So it's going to like double the liquidity in Swapper. That should pull it ahead of HoneySwap, which currently has about 100 WETH in the WETH XDAI pair. But BowSwap actually has 159 WETH on their pair, because I think people are actually liquidity mining there. So it'll still be smaller than BowSwap, but like Sky said, I don't know how many people are really using the BowSwap UI. I think a lot of it's going through HoneySwap.
HoneySwap is connected to BowSwap?
No.
No, people are just people know. Everyone knows about HoneySwap. Not many people know that BowSwap is an option, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on mainnet, right, where you have a lot of liquidity on Sushi, but maybe like most people are actually using Uniswap. It's like BowSwap, because of the liquidity mining, has actually more liquidity than HoneySwap. It's like twice as much, actually. But yeah. Yeah,
all the Bow sites are also all over the place. I think the one that have found it's most helpful is the Bow board, because that gives you the APYs for the farming and also the TVL, or the size of the pools that they have there.
Yeah, that's the most useful to get a snapshot. I think it doesn't include all of the pools that are farming on XDAI. Like for example, like the WETH XDAI pool is not. I think the WETH pairs are like not on there. But
yeah, they said it was only like WBTC. Yeah. So like, I mean, I guess that means we would have close to the largest or one of the largest pools on XDAI, and so I guess like that, makes it a good trading experience for at least that pair, and so that gives us at least like a kind of start, and then we can build up like a couple other pairs, and then it's like, okay, well, what are we doing next to kind of like expand?
Well, and in the next release with BioSwap added into the front end, I think like undoubtedly Swapper, the UI is the best place to go on XDAI to do your trading. Like hands down, because if you go to HoneySwap, you're only accessing the $10 million liquidity on HoneySwap and you're missing the 20 million on BioSwap. If you go to BioSwap, it just kind of stinks.
Yeah, so there is no good aggregator on XDAI. Swapper, there will eventually be an aggregator, like whether it's 1inch or someone else, right? So on XDAI, in the meantime, we can get a big leap by once we have BioSwap and HoneySwap, and then more capital in Swapper, we should do like a really big push to let people know that that is the #1 place to trade if you want to trade on XDAI, because you get the best of all three things that are on there. So it's not, and we'll have to educate people that it's not an aggregator, that it's this echo routing, right? Because people don't know what that is. But
to be clear,
it's a no-brainer to use this, right?
It's great to use. I think I love it already. Like I think to be clear, like DXproduct doesn't make any money off of those trades going through HoneySwap or BioSwap. So I mean, like I think you can approach those communities and be like, check this out, it's good for you guys, right? But I think like for DXDAO, the business strategy here is like attract the user base to the front end. That is like the most valuable thing. That's what Uniswap has. Like that's what we really want to like chip away at. And then we do make money with the pools that Swapper actually does have, right? And if we drive more retail volume to the Swapper UI, that will be good for the Swapper pools, and we like share in the profitability with the other exchanges.
So if we get like the full DXDAO community and DXD holder community that like is familiar with what XDAI is, to do what happened with my crypto yesterday, and like go out to all of the tokens that anyone trades on XDAI into their Discords and stuff, and just let them know, and it's okay if 5 people do it instead of 1 person does it, and let them know that by using Swapper, you get the best of all 3 exchanges on XDAI. It's almost guerrilla marketing, but we should leverage the DXDAO community to like get that out into all of the social channels of all of the potential people that would have any token on any of those 3 exchanges. Yeah,
definitely.
We're gonna have some campaign and have users try and share their experience on social media and think of some awards for the most people that brought new customers onto the platform, like adding some social media sharing buttons that they can easily use throughout the platform.
Yeah, that's a good. So like getting our announcements and like something like Swapper echo routing into like week in Ethereum, like even if we have to pay for it, or maybe we do we pay for the advertisement, or like get it. We need to get this type of features / the launch into like those publications, right?
Yeah, I do think like the community engagement is like a good, because it's like we want to go specific to the people that are like XDAI, or the tokens that they're kind of like interesting trading.
Yeah, so we can get XDAI. We'll get XDAI team if we have a good write-up. XDAI team will announce that to the entire community that's following XDAI.
I mean, we're claiming we're not saying come trade with us. This is the best experience in the world. We're saying come trade with us. This is this best experience on XDAI, and like we feel very strongly about that. We'll get to the world in a bit, but like right now, it's like we can clearly make the argument, or when we want to get BattleSwap, we can clearly make the argument that it is like the best experience, and so anyone trading on XDAI should be trading on Swapper. Eco.
Well, in life, it's not the business with the best product that gets the most business. It's the loudest. You know, it's same with children. The one that always cries gets fed first.
So what do you? Yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to talk about how to do that, right? How to go out and promote this.
Yeah.
So I feel like we are like 2 weeks away, I guess, as Federico said, that'll probably be in release 5. So when we get this kind of BattleSwap, and that'll give us some time to also, there will be a little bit more liquidity so that when they do come, like the more, I guess, because the more DXDAO liquidity we have in Swapper, the more often people are going to trade on Swapper, and we're going to get the actual protocol fee revenue from that. So it's good to have that. And then, and so it's like kind of maybe like 2 weeks from now, we'll be able to start having this engagement. And so we should think about it. The 2 other things I wanted to hit on were one, next liquidity moves. So there's currently a 250 ETH swapper, 250 ETH deposit into Swapper on XDAI proposal. This is a repeat of the last one that we did across the 4 pairs that is currently in the treasury. And then there's a 300 ETH proposal to deposit into Swapper on mainnet through the ETH DAI pair there, which I think will put it to like $600,000-700,000. So what are we thinking of next? Do we want to focus again on those like 4 pairs? The liquidity that we're putting that should be coming this time should put us pretty competitive with each of the as the largest pools on XDAI. So they should already be at that level. So I don't know if we need to focus on those. Obviously, we could, if we had more liquidity, then there could be larger trades. But wondering what people are thinking about additional liquidity and whether we want to like expand the pairs that we're providing liquidity in. I think stake would be one of the potential ones to consider next. Stake is the native token for XDAI, and there's I think like a $350,000 pool on HoneySwap of stake WETH.
So I think winning the WETH XDAI pool is really important, and John was saying we might not quite get there right now. So do we have to add more liquidity there, or?
Yeah, I'm sending myself a link to share here to help people do this. But yeah, we're a little shy of the BattleSwap one. So if we want the ability to like claim the biggest one, then it would need more.
I would definitely go for that.
Yeah.
So I do think we will beat that when then this exists. So there's one proposal now that I think will be like another 100 WETH or like 80 WETH that is currently on mainnet. And so once that goes through, that should even be bigger than BattleSwap. What John's talking about now is the one that is already in XDAI base that will be deposited in Swapper on in like 5 days. But I completely agree in general. We should be upping the WETH XDAI pool regardless, because like we want to make that one. We want to own that after the biggest one. But like the bigger that gets, that means the more like the larger trades you can get, like the higher fees. So definitely re-upping that in some way.
Gotcha.
So the reason why, even though it's XDAI, ETH/WETH is the most important asset, like by far, right? And I just shared this with Chris, but I think the stat that I heard is of all the pools on Uniswap, of all the volume that's traded, 95% involves ETH or WETH, right? So it's clearly the most important asset. Obviously, we all know that, but like even on Uniswap, like 95% of the volume involves WETH, right? And that's because tokens, you don't want to trade random token against dollars. You want to trade against WETH, so you don't have less impermanent loss probably. But that should be the case on XDAI as well. Even though XDAI is a dollar native token, the main pools should still be traded in WETH. So if we can dominate WETH pools on XDAI, I think it's a huge advantage because people will favor those pools. When you can buy DXD against WETH or put liquidity into DXD WETH on XDAI, that's better than putting it in DXD XDAI. So dominating WETH on XDAI is a huge opportunity.
Totally, yeah.
But so we've got that, but so we should stay focused on those.
I mean, another
pairs.
consideration would be that we could probably be the first product that has gold on XDAI, but I'm not sure how popular gold has been in the cryptosphere. It seems like there hasn't been much volume anywhere for gold. So
Yeah, that was always like, I don't know, there was that synthetics pool like a year ago or something. It feels like everyone's always waiting for gold to be appealing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people waited for how was it called? Digix? Everyone waited for Digix and they fucked it up. But there's actually like a big liquidity pool on Miro with gold and silver. I think more than 7 million in liquidity. So I think I think people would buy gold on the blockchain.
Digix, there was an underrated story in the history of decentralized governance.
But Paul, but which synthetics projects are you talking about? Like how could we put gold into?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Swap?
there's also PAX. There's also PAX now, which I mean, obviously is a bit centralized, but that would be one option as well.
Right.
Does synthetics have gold?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that would probably be the main one. We're already using and holding synthetic dollars, like synthetic gold. If we're comfortable with synthetic system, I think synthetics gold would be like the main option, right?
I mean, it would be a pretty low risk thing to do. Could have some marketing value to be the only place on XDAI to have gold, but not. I mean, I'm not 100% on it.
Yeah, and what was is there BTC? Does anyone know if there's a decent BTC pool on XDAI?
So we have we're going to go after the WBTC WETH pool, and I think it's like 120. I think it's 120,000 on HoneySwap. I'm not sure what it is on BowSwap, but on HoneySwap it's 120.
Yeah, I think that.
I definitely think we should go after that one.
In gold for sure. Like dominate that one, and then we could also do gold, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think like right now the order is like by far WETH WXDAI, and then it's like USDC WXDAI and WETH WBTC are like both 2 and 3, and then like fourth, I guess we have WETH DPI, right? That's the fourth one. I don't know if we want to go that much further into that because we do have. I think we actually will surpass BowSwaps, even BowSwaps liquidity there. But then the only other one we're kind of hearing is maybe gold.
Yeah, the other news thing would be let's change some fees, right? Let's lower a fee and let's raise a fee. Let's make a fee 50 basis points for some interesting pool and make one like for $1 one or whatever, like 0.1%.
Yeah, I actually wanted to make a proposal for that today. Do we feel good about a particular pair like USDC? I wanted to lower one of them to like something low.
Yeah, I think the USDC WXDAI one. Lower that one and then maybe raise
What's the DPI pool?
It will be. It hasn't been made yet, but WETH DPI.
Yeah, so you want to raise a pool. Well, we'll hopefully have house token on Monday, and we're gonna raise a pool for that one.
There is a Avi WETH and a Honey WETH pool on Swapper, so we could do that one because maybe there's like agave holders or honey holders that want higher fees in the same way that house tokens want higher fees.
Yeah. It usually you want the higher fee one in a pool that's like you're worried about impermanent loss. And like LPs aren't putting any money in. And so if they all of a sudden it's 1% fee, I mean we could do 1% fee a month before Uniswap does 1% fee. Be like, oh, Uniswap's doing 1% fees. Guys, there's 1% fees on XDAI today on Swapper. That'd be cool marketing.
1% fees aren't cool. You know what's cool? 0.9% fees.
Yeah.
So Federico's saying we don't actually need the token. You just need the address.
Don't you need the token?
No, you just need the token address. You can create a pair without depositing anything.
Really? What's the price? Or like
you can just call like the factory, the create pair function on the factory, and that's basically it.
And you put no tokens in, and then the first person to put a token in has to determine the price later in the future.
Yeah.
Oh shit! We could have already done this, so we should do that today. And then we need to, because then once we have the pair, we want to increase the fee. Can we increase the fee if there's no tokens yet?
Yeah, we should be able. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's do that today.
Cool. So we'll do the WXDAI USDC pair, lower that fee to test that out, and then we'll start a house WETH pool and then raise that fee.
Awesome. Oh, I wish we had known that. We could have. Oh fuck. We could have. We could have done it a week ago, and had the fee already because the token launches on Monday.
We could still do it, Sky. We just need to get an absolute majority.
On XDAI?
Yeah.
All right. We can maybe do that. Let's try it. That's a good test. Yeah, let's do that this morning. Maybe I'll get the address and then maybe you can help me.
Yeah.
Create the poll.
I'm already up to my elbows in XDAI right now proposals, so we can party later.
Party. Someone get tenderly. That's where the juice bar is. Okay, we can start doing that right after this. The only other thing to kind of hit on and talk about, I think, is the IL insurance or conditional farming. And John, you made you said you wanted to. This is in marketing comms.
Oh yeah, I mean I just think it's a cool. I mean, and like Federico was really like proposing a lot of these ideas. So I don't want to steal like the credit like from him, but I just think it's a cool thing we can do, which is like this conditional token farming, and as like in permanent loss insurance. So like create a scalar market with like a range of percentage change, like on the upside for a token pair, and then the DAO creates and collateralizes that market, retains the shorts, puts the longs into a farming contract for that pair, and then you can even have it be like a dual rewards pair. So if we have like DXD farming going on, we could do DXD farming and like IL insurance for the same pair at the same time. And like, yeah, I just think it's a super cool showcase of like our farming and the conditional token framework, which I mean is not really us, but like it fits into Omen and the narrative around Omen. So.
And we'd be able to
really do it.
It would be easy to wrap. We'd have to wrap the conditional token. I'm just thinking of like, so presumably this is probably
we would like,
right?
Yeah, we probably have to do it. Like that initial setup would have to be done probably by the multi-sig, wrap the 1155 into an ERC20, the longs in particular, and then So then the part that I think all of that should not be incredibly hard to do. The part I'm a little uncertain about right now is like how would the people farming actually redeem those tokens? I don't know if Geronimo knows about that process, but
About what?
redeeming, like if we wanted to do a conditional token farming campaign and we wrap the 1155s and put them into a farming contract, some random farmer is going to get the tokens. How do they actually redeem them?
Yeah, so there's like a very bad way of doing it by using the conditional token explorer, which is like literally I don't understand. It's possible.
It's a prime example of everything adapt should never be.
You need the tutorials to claim that.
So we should probably provide liquidity on it and then let people like exit that way and then just reclaim them ourselves, or
for what specific use case are we?
Well, like if so we're distributing these to LP holders, right? So people on Swapper, they're LP holders. They now have the conditional token, right? And in permanent loss insurance, and like they want to claim it because DXT went up or whatever went up, and like they want to claim the proceeds from the Omen market, but they have a wrapped token, so they would have to unwrap it and claim the rewards. And so John's kind of wondering how we would do that process.
I mean, the easiest way is to build this into Omen. That's why we have the wrapper curation for the guild. So the guild can actually curate which wrapper contracts are the main ones for a specific market. And then like a user would just go to Omen and basically get a model or pop-up.
Wrap, unwrap, yeah.
Right, like it would be the Gnosis Safe Proxy Kit power. It would be just a claim transaction. So we could basically do everything, unwrap, and then redeem, right?
Federico's asked, do we actually want to set up a market?
Yeah, I think we should start actually experimenting even with like a shitty setup. We should actually experiment with it.
With the market? Like with an actual AMM?
What market are we talking about here? Because the, can you be specific, Federico?
The conditional tokens for this could also be created directly without a market. If you deposit collateral into the conditional token framework, you can then call a function called split position, where you just deposit the collateral and basically, like outcome tokens are given back to you. Like you create the condition, you deposit the collateral, you call the split position, and the collateral is actually converted into outcome tokens. And potentially the DAO could wrap them directly without setting up an AMM to trade them. Like, I don't know if I explained myself, but.
Right, and I actually think for IL insurance, we don't want a market. Like I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And the redeem functionality could be built in a way in the wrapping, like in the ERC20 wrapper contract, which like knows which token it is wrapping, like which outcome, like tokens for which outcome it is wrapping, so it can call the redeem on the conditional token framework once the payouts have been reported, like once the Oracle has given an answer for the condition. So I think it's all doable with a wrapping contract anyway. But yeah, we can discuss about this.
Yeah, if Swapper is actually going like way more focusing on scalable networks like XDAI, I think it makes sense to like actually start looking into Gnosis Safe Proxy Kit, because then we could do all kind of stuff. Like deploying a Gnosis Safe on XDAI is still like below 1 cent. So I think that is something we could look into just to make like the whole experience better.
Hey,
right.
Federico, I just had a quick question. So with swapper echo routing, if we had a house WETH pool and someone wanted to buy a house, and then like if HoneySwap doesn't have that same exact pool, it wouldn't look for like, would it look on HoneySwap for like a cross pool way to get house or not? Or it only looks at the same exact pair?
So go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean if HoneySwap does not have house at all, it does not like only
no has house, but the HoneySwap would have house XDAI pool.
I think I know. I think I know what. Yeah, so if you're trading, I think I know what this guy's talking about. So if you're trading on Uniswap, let's say, right, like it can go from one pair to the next to complete your trade, right? It can route through multiple pairs.
Yeah.
With the eco routing, you can still like go through multiple pairs within an exchange, but it does not support yet going like a route through multiple pairs across exchanges.
Okay, that's fine. So right? I'm just thinking if you have ETH and you want to buy house on Swapper, we're going to have a high fee house WETH pool, but on HoneySwap the alternative would be like a house XDAI pool, and then there's going to also be an XDAI WETH pool, right? And so then but with lower fees, and so it's going to compare which of those two alternatives would get you the best price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it factor the fees?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Sweet. Does. That's really cool. Great to know.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem.
Good job, Federico. This guy's like, oh, that's great. Cool. Actually, and just returning the conditional tokens, like I think we definitely should experiment with that. And I'm happy, Federico. It sounds like I know we've talked about this a bit in the past, just on a whole bunch of like options things. So I'd be happy to see what we can do there. But I think it'd be great to experiment with this. And I agree with John. We don't, because there would be no reason to have a market. The only reason you need a market is if someone wanted to like pull out early and like recognize some of there was impermanent loss, so therefore like their wrapped conditional token is valuable, and they don't want to wait until like the expiry date to realize those gains, and so they would like sell into the market. And I don't think we really care about that, having that option.
Because like maybe having a market to like, you know, short or long the like impermanent, like the relative prices is interesting for somebody, but for the DAO providing insurance, what you really just want to do is like create as many longs as you need and like put those into the farming pool.
Yeah.
Which means you're not going to have anything left to create a market, right?
But you can kind of do what Chris is saying by just collecting the wrapped conditional tokens from the farming and creating a market on Swapper, for example.
I think that could totally happen. Like the farmers may even do that, right? They're earning conditional tokens, and they might create like the longs versus DAI versus something else, right? Like on Swapper, yeah. But not like the Omen markets that we're familiar with, like that you would use on Omen, where it's like longs versus shorts.
Cool. Awesome. So just thinking we'll have some XDAI proposals coming this way. We work on the conditional token things, and then we'll be looking to continue liquidity deposits into Swapper. So cool. Anything else? Any on the mind? Cool.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Chris. I've been having some connection issues the last 20 minutes, but it's Friday and we're gonna have a happy hour. We started last week. I'm gonna put a more formal time in a calendar link in the chats, but just like a drop in, drop out, fun time, no stress, and everyone's welcome.
Sweet.
And good luck to all the Europeans this weekend for daylight savings time, I think. Enjoy your sleep. Get some extra. Cool. All right, guys. Have a good day. Good weekend.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Happy weekend, guys.
Go home, guys.